It's been a little while since I've seen ZTE, much less held one in my hand, which is why I was actually kind of excited when this particular phone made it onto my doorstep. Hey, it's Josh Vigar from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And it's time to unbox and give my first impressions on the ZTE ZMax for T-Mobile. Alright, and here we are with the ZTE ZMax. Now, we have a pretty colorful box right here, and as you're going to see right on the corner here, it is made for T-Mobile, so I did have a T-Mobile card, SIM card available with this box, and it was already perforated out, so the SIM card should already be inside of this particular phone. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into the actual phone itself, or the contents of the box rather. So get the things out of the way, and we have a nice big plastic bag right here with the 5.7-inch device right here. And I'm going to go ahead and take that out of the plastic in a little bit, but let's see what else we get inside of the box. ZTE bringing you closer, as it says right there. We're going to go and get that middle part out of the way. And we have some pretty big pieces of plastic here, even some bubble wrap right there, which is kind of interesting. But as far as the other peripherals go, what we're going to have inside this box is a micro USB charging cable, if I'm not mistaken, along with the plug adapter. There you go, the plug adapter for US plugs, and of course the charging cable. We also get a tool for removing the SIM card, or the SIM tray rather, and another card with the T-Mobile SIM in it. So I'm going to double check if the T-Mobile SIM is already inside of the phone, but it looks like we have an extra one here if I so choose to use it. A couple of manuals right here, especially for T-Mobile documentation, which we'll just leave over on the side. And here we are, the 5.7-inch ZTE ZMax. Well, we do have a rounded feel on the back, but I'll go ahead and remove, first thing I noticed, and I'll go ahead and remove the plastic here, and then we'll go ahead and get into the initial thoughts. Alright, here's the actual device itself. Like I said already, there's a bit of a curve over on the sides that kind of move into the backing, and it does allow it to sit pretty nicely in the hand right here. The gripping on the sides is not quite as ideal because they're not flat, obviously, so you're going to have a little bit of a curve downward on your thumb and fingers over on the other side, but that's just the initial thought when it comes to the feel. We'll go ahead and just remove the plastic right here. There you go. It's a really simplistic backing, really. It has just the ZTE logo right there with the camera optics up top, and then a slit on the bottom for the actual speakers. If we look over on the sides, we have the power button over here on the right side along with the SIM tray. And if we move over to the other side, we have the volume rocker with the micro SD card slot. Alright, and here we are. We didn't exactly have a setup that we had to do. We'll just go ahead and jump right in. You can long press the screen to unlock. So it's not a swipe. We don't really have a swipe here, but you had to just sort of hold it there. I'll show you that one more time. It's a bit of a different lock screen that we have here. Just hold, and there you go. So what we have here is Android 4.4, or at least as it says in the box. We'll go and take a look at that in a bit. That icon on the top right there that says 4G LTE is all the confirmation I need to say that there's already a T-Mobile SIM in here. So we're going to go ahead and get started pretty quickly. We already have some T-Mobile messages right here, so we are good to go in that regard. Head back. So we have capacitive keys here on the bottom, and that includes a menu button right here. We'll go ahead and jump into the system settings and just take a look a little bit at the software version. So it looks like it's 4.4.2. So it is KitKat. It is a somewhat older version of KitKat, but that's all right. 4.4.2. And it looks like it keeps a pretty stock looking Android right here. ZTE doesn't really seem like they're really changing the formula too much. Especially if we look over here, we have the notification drop down with the quick settings right here. That includes some added buttons right here that aren't necessarily found in the real stock Android. If you're looking for a good mid-range entry or just something that really kind of works, gives you the bare essentials at the very least when it comes to your Android device, the ZTE ZMax might be it. So we're going to take even further looks at this phone before we get into our full review. As far as the look and feel of this device, I do think that it's a pretty nice looking device, but you can already see it in my hand. It's kind of large, and it does come with a 5.7-inch display, but as I turn on the screen right here, you're going to see that there's actually quite a bit of bezel around that display that otherwise actually looks quite nice. But the problem is, when you already have 5.7 inches in the screen, and you add a lot of girth on the top and bottom, and then if you look on the sides, you actually have a pretty good bezel right there. It actually makes this phone a little bit unwieldy, and with that curve on the sides that leads to the back, this phone phone's a little bit unwieldy, I have to admit. It's not the worst looking device. It actually looks pretty nice, like I said already, but being able to just get around with one hand, it's definitely not something you're going to be able to do easily with the ZMax. You will be using this with two hands, probably in landscape more often than not, but otherwise it's a nice black slate design, and I do have to give it some credit for actually looking pretty attractive. To further the fact that this is a mid-range offering, we do have an 8 megapixel camera on the back with 1.6 megapixels in the front-facing camera. Now, I did take a look at the interface a little bit. It's one of the few places so far that I've seen that has changed, that ZTE has changed from the original stock-like feel of Android, and it does provide you quite a few different modes, including a manual mode that did provide quite a few options in order for you to change the shot to what you need it to be. As far as camera quality goes, we're obviously going to be waiting for our full review to show you that, but that is just a quick look at the ZTE ZMax, in my case for T-Mobile, and I'm pretty excited to take a look at this because ZTE is a phone company that I haven't really played with their phones in a little while, and with this one coming on my doorstep, I just knew I had to give my first impressions on it and show them to you. So keep it tuned to Android Authority for the ZMax full review, as it's going to be coming soon, and for all of our other coverage, you can see a couple videos over on the side, and make sure that you drop us some likes on our videos, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and once you're done with all of that, watch some more videos, and then head on over to AndroidAuthority.com because we are your source for all things Android.